Hi, and welcome to part 4 of our Cégep student orientation session for Faculty of Science students starting McGill in the fall of 2020. Today we're going to talk about outside the classroom, a few opportunities made available to you by the Faculty of Science to do some experiential learning or some learning not focused uniquely on sitting in class or being in a lab, let's say. Okay, as usual, my name's Nicole Allard. I'm the Director of Advising Services for the Faculty of Science. So I want to start by telling you about our science internship program. Essentially, if you complete paid full-time work in a field related to your studies, it can be considered an internship, and we have an internships officer available to help you figure out how to do that. And you can see the link to that website on the bottom of this slide, and I encourage you to go there and learn more about this. Essentially, an internship should last from 4 to 16 months in duration. 4 months could be in the summer or in any single academic term, so summer, winter, or fall. You could do 8 months, which is 2 terms side by side. Fall, winter, winter, summer, summer, fall, whatever. You could do 12 months, or you could even do 16 months if you do the 2 summers that bracket an academic year. Doing this allows you to apply the theory you're learning to practice, get valuable job experience, and recommendations and places where you can go and work afterwards. It really increases your job prospects after graduation also. It's a great thing to do. If you complete a minimum of 8 months of internships, either 8 months in a row or 2 4-month internships, so 2 summers, you will get the designation internship option written on your transcript at graduation, which immediately shows to your potential employers, if you're submitting your transcript to them with your application, it immediately shows them that you have completed a significant amount of work experience in your field. It's a great thing to do. Usually people will do it, say, summer after U1, so the next summer, summer 2021 and summer 2022, or the 2 summers following. So for you guys, it could be 2022 and 2023, or you might want to take some time, extend your degree by a year and do it during the academic year, fall and winter. Or you could just do 1 4-month internship, whichever you prefer. If you do 1 4-month, we call it an industrial practicum, but either way, it's the same value added to your degree. So please consult this website and speak to Antoine, our internships officer. Okay, there's also something called field study semesters. Now, I know you're all aware of the concept of field study courses, where you might go, and we do have some like this, where you might go up to Mount Royal and do stuff, or you might go off for a weekend or a week in Mont Saint Hilaire. We have a research base there. So we have various sort of shorter term field courses like that available, some in Montreal, some Mont Saint Hilaire, some in other parts of Quebec, some in New Brunswick. They're all over the world. We have some for a week in Barbados during the reading week in the winter. There's a lot of different options, but we also have something called field study semesters, where you go and you spend an entire semester taking McGill courses with McGill professors, but in another country altogether. You can go to Africa, where you will actually visit 3 different countries in East Africa. You're really learning in the fields. Your learning includes safaris, it includes living in villages, it's learning in the field. It's very little classroom time, but you're still taking courses, you're still learning, you're just not doing it in class. We also have 2 different field semesters in Barbados on the beautiful Platinum Coast, right on the beach. It's absolutely gorgeous. We have one in the summer and one in the fall. They cover different aspects. The studies focus on different things, but either way, you're welcome to go. And again, it's 5 courses. McGill courses just taught elsewhere. And in Barbados, you tend to do courses in the morning, courses in the evening, and then when it gets too hot in the afternoon, it's siestas or research or hanging out in the water. It's really lovely. We have the same kind of thing in Panama. where it's very helpful, as a matter of fact, kind of required for you to know how to speak Spanish, because everybody around you will be speaking Spanish. The courses will be in English because they're regular courses, but you really do need to be able to speak Spanish if you're going to go to the Panama Field Study semester. We have a field study semester in the Arctic. You go up for, I think it's a month or 6 weeks in the summer, because it gets really cold up there any other time. And then we have various shorter, as I said, field studies courses. You can do 3 credits in various places. And I encourage you to get on our website listed here and go find out more about the various field studies opportunities. We really encourage them. Students find them life-altering. They're just wonderful. So knock yourselves out. Undergraduate research, that's something that we really encourage our students to get involved in as much as possible. It's essential if you want to go on to become a scientist, to do a master's or a PhD in a traditional field. That's what scientists do. They do research. And the more you get done in undergrad, the better your chances of getting in as a graduate student. But also, if you want to be a scientist, we have to assume that you want to do research. It's fascinating to ask questions and figure out how you're going to get the answer, and then actually maybe get the answer. It's really quite remarkable. And so we encourage you to do as much research as you can in your degree. So we have various ways for you to get involved in undergraduate research in a professor's lab, either as a course, as a volunteer, as a paid job, in the summer with a having been awarded a summer research fellowship. There's so many ways to get involved in a professor's lab, and so many ways to find the right professor. You could be contacting researchers. The best way to do that would be to start with a departmental advisor or talk to an academic advisor, find out the best way to go about that. We also have traditionally what we call soup and science, which we are now calling, for the summer, we're calling it Sun in Science, where various of our instructors and researchers present their research to you in brief 3 to 5 minute talks, no longer. And then you have an opportunity to interact with them, talk to them, find out more about their research, and see if you can get involved. Now, don't be intimidated by the concept of getting involved in research. We don't expect you to know anything about it when you start out. We're a university, we teach you. We know that. All we want at the beginning is an interest. If you're interested in learning more about it and learning by doing, then by all means, talk to an advisor and we'll help you to get in touch with different supervisors and get involved in research. I mean, that's how you start, right? You got to learn by doing, and you learn by doing by starting out in the lab. So we strongly recommend it. We think it's great. And whoops, sorry, didn't mean to scoot forward so quickly. So definitely get in contact with your academic advisors to find out more about what's going on for undergraduate research opportunities. It's a wonderful experience. We have opportunities for you to study away, to go to another university in another country and take courses there. We have 2 different ways for you to do that. You can do it either through what we call a formal exchange, and that's where we have agreements with many, many universities in almost every country in the world. But for formal exchanges, you apply through McGill. You tell us what university you want to go to, and we sort of coordinate the application and the admission and everything else. And if you're accepted to that university, you actually pay McGill fees to go away. So you could be paying McGill fees to go study in England or France or Australia, Hong Kong. And so that's one way to do it. The other way to do it is what we call a visiting student. And that's where you arrange it on your own. You find a university in whatever country or wherever you want to go, and you apply there to that university as a visiting student. And that's very similar to an exchange student. You're applying as a McGill student who wants to spend a year there or a semester there and transfer the credits back. That's perfectly acceptable. We all do that as well. The difference is, as a visiting student, you're applying to that university, not to McGill. And you're paying that university's fees. So it may or may not be more expensive depending on the fees you pay at McGill and the place that you would be going. However, it's not necessarily a limited number of spaces. So the deadline to apply is later than for the formal exchange programs. And also there are clearly many more spots available when you're going on your own. Either way, you would work with Mary Gauthier, who is our dedicated university exchange and study away advisor, who will be able to help you ensure that wherever you go, you will get your credits transferred back, provided you take the appropriate courses. Most universities, as long as they're accredited by their home country, are acceptable to McGill. So you could go almost anywhere. And again, it's a great opportunity. The ideal time to go on study away or exchange would be in your second of 3 years. You can also go in your third year, but if you go in your absolute final semester, it may delay your graduation by a bit. Now, that's not always the end of the world, but that's the worst thing that can happen. So ideally, you would want to go in U2. Now, oddly enough, that means you want to start informing yourself, say, around October of this year, so that you can find out what's going on and how you apply to go to another country for your second year. Now, obviously, we don't really know what's going to be happening in a year or in 6 months or whatever, but you could still go through the process and apply. You can always withdraw your application if something comes up later. So if you're interested in this, definitely you should be informing yourselves. You can go and you can contact Mary Gauthier, and she'll put you in touch with the appropriate websites and other places to start doing your research and figure out what you want to do and where you want to go. Again, a really cool way to combine travel with learning, and also to see how other countries do this, do university, and meet people from other parts of the world. So a great way to broaden your horizons. Finally, just to let you know, we have something called the BSC Global designation that you can apply to have added to your transcript at graduation if you have done the following things within your degree. What you need to do to get this designation of BSC Global is you have to have taken an approved second language course. So you have to learn a language other than your mother tongue, basically. You have to complete an independent research course. So show us that you can do research, because that's very much a global profession, right? People do research everywhere. And then a third optional component. So the first two are required. You have to have a second language course. You have to have a research course. And that's an independent project research course. The third one, you choose one of these four things. You can either do field studies, some courses, or a field studies semester. Do an internship of at least 4 months. Do an exchange or independent study away semester. Or complete at least 6 credits of what we call global courses. And there's a pre-selected list that really focus on international and global issues. So as long as you do those 3 things, then you inform us just before graduation that you've done this, then we will indicate on your transcript that you have the BSC Global designation. It's really just a way to show future employers that you've gone a little bit above and beyond to expand your education and broaden it to include other issues and other experiences. And again, a nice thing to do. And if you get on this website, you'll be able to find out more about it. Okay, well, that's it for this installment. Again, I want to remind you about our website, our handbook at this link, and please read the science orientation booklet, the parts that apply to you. Great. Thank you very much.